Hi guys, so I'm going to make a quick short video, hopefully, on some tips on taking out a reborn with you during the day. So I already have Mia strapped into her car seat, like I normally do when I take her out. So since Mia is a newborn, you want to have a head support or a full body support. It looks weird just because she has a headband on. But, you could just go ahead and leave her or your reborn like this. She is dressed for the weather. It's kind of chilly out today, so that's the first step, is dressing your reborn in weather appropriate clothing. You're obviously not going to take a baby out in just a onesie barefoot when it's snowing outside. So dress your baby, or dress your reborn like you would a regular baby for going outside. So because she is a sleeping baby, I feel like her hands give it away with the position her hands are in. So one thing that I do anytime I take her out is I do put scratch mittens on her. I'm not just for the sake of this video, because she was already just dressed and I didn't feel like fighting to get them on. Another thing is that you could do a modified pacifier. And a modified pacifier is just the nipple piece cut off with a magnet. She has a magnet on the inside of her mouth, so it allows her to hold it. Or you can do one of these. I personally like doing this, where it looks like she just spit it out because she's asleep, and just kind of have it sit there on her. Now, if I don't want to do a pacifier, or you don't want to, you can do a toy. This is like one of those security blanket toys, and you can just kind of lay it in there on top of her. That way she has it. Another thing is, that you can do is add a bottle. Bottle sells the realism if you're trying to fool people or you want them to look more realistic. Obviously, you want them to look realistic in a car seat or everyone's going to know it's a reborn. So I have a video on how I made this. You can go check that out. And I just stick it on the side like that. That way it's there. Another thing is you can put a blanket. I like the Muslim swaddle blankets. They're pretty thin, so they're like perfect for summertime. If you have a blanket on them, people aren't going to be able to see the chest rise and fall, obviously, so because that doesn't happen with a reborn like it does with a real baby. So you can have a light blanket like this one, or if it's colder out, such as like winter or fall, you can use a much heavier blanket on the car seat. So like that. There are times that I don't put a blanket on the car seat, just because sometimes it drives me nuts. Another thing you can do is what I typically do. If you don't want people to really see the reborn, if you're afraid of people staring, you can put the little visor up and it casts a shadow over top of them so people don't see them as well. Or you can take this blanket again, the Muslim swaddling blanket, and lay it over top. Like you've seen, I'm sure if you go out, you've seen parents have the car seat covered, and that's usually when the baby is sleeping. That way light doesn't wake the baby up. Another thing is that you want this clip right on the chest. I've seen so many pictures of reborns in car seats with it being, down here like that. That's a big safety hazard for a real child. So if you want to sell it being realistic, you want it up there in between the shoulders on the chest. So those are kind of my tips for putting a reborn in a car seat. When you take them out, like I said, if you don't want them to really be seen, I was really nervous the first time I took her out. I did cover the car seat. I still cover the car seat when I take her out to certain places, such like a doctor's office. If I'm sitting in the waiting room for a good long time, or if I'm in line and there's someone behind me, I'll cover the car seat. If we go out to dinner, like my best friend, me and her will go out to dinner sometimes, and I'll bring her with me and I'll cover the car seat. That way people don't stare. Everyone loves babies. I personally love babies, and I find myself, I do stare at babies, not meaning to, but people do. So if you don't want them to be stared at, cover them up. Another thing is that if you're going to leave your reborn for whatever reason in the car, make sure it cannot be seen by passerbys as they walk past your vehicle. There are so many stories, because they look lifelike and they look real, of people calling 911 because there's an infant in the car and it's not moving and it's not breathing, and it's hot outside, and the cops come, they break your window to find out that baby's not real. And now you have a broken window, which could cost a good couple hundred, if not $1,000, depending on your vehicle type. Don't do that. Some easy ways to avoid that is to take the car seat itself and flip it over. I know that sounds weird, but flip it over. I typically will take, if I know I have to leave her in the car, I will take blankets or jackets or something, or just clutter crap, and lay it on top of the car seat. That way people cannot see her from all angles, and it just looks like the car seat's sitting in the car with a bunch of crap in it. So those are my little tips for taking them out. I enjoy taking her out. If you want to take them out, I said take them out. It's don't let anyone stop you. My family thought it was weird. They still think it's weird. They're always gonna think it's weird, and I enjoy taking her out. It makes me happy. I feel bad if I don't take her out. So if you're worried about what people are gonna say, don't tell them it's a reborn. I don't. If they ask me how old she is, I tell people 3.5 weeks. Because of how small she is. She doesn't look small on camera, but she actually is relatively small. She weighs 6.5 pounds. I weighed her this morning, and it's at 6.5 pounds because I re-weighted her the other night. So if you guys have any questions about taking your reborn out or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm more than willing to give you some advice on that. So I will see you guys in my next video.